Iranian nuclear sites, and it all creates some very tense times around the globe. Bishop Garrison is a vice president for the Policy with the Intelligence and National Security Alliance. He joins me now for more on what could be ahead for the United States and the rest of the world. Welcome. Thank you for being here on Scripps News.
Thank you for having me.
So first, Iran has promised to respond to the U.S. airstrikes this weekend. And today, Iranian officials are actually heading to Russia to meet with President Putin and Russian officials. So is that a concern? What are their options at this point? And is there a chance that they would just come to the negotiating table now?
Oh, well, there are a variety of concerns with all of this. First and foremost, Russia has already stipulated that they were not happy with the United States stepping into the conflict in the way that they have. But Russia has also spread thin themselves with the ongoing activity within Ukraine with the invasion that they took on some time ago in Ukraine. So Russia has interest here, but I'm not really sure, and I think a lot of experts would agree that Russia necessarily has the leverage that it seems that it may have in this. Yes, they have stated that they may give one of their nuclear weapons to Iran just as a way of kind of pushing this effort forward. But at the same time, they've also threatened to potentially utilize some of this type of technology against Ukraine in the past. I think there is a lot of reason why Iran would want to come to the negotiating table here in good faith to try to find a diplomatic way out of tensions here. But that remains to be seen.
The weekend, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres weighed in. Let's take a quick listen to what he had to say. I want your response.
I have repeatedly condemned any military escalation in the Middle East. The people of the region cannot endure another cycle of destruction. And yet, we now risk descending into a rat hole of retaliation after retaliation. To avoid it, diplomacy must prevail.
All right, so on top of that, Doha this morning ordered a shelter-in-place warning in Qatar. Should we fear that this could become a wider war?
Well, it's very possible. I mean, at the end of the day, the question is, what is the stated end goal here? What is it that the administration hopes to achieve through this activity? And a part of this is now you have not just Iran, who is, to be clear, has been in the past a state sponsor of terrorism. This is something that we know and understand factually. But at the same time, we have to worry about non-state actors in this play now, those that may be empathetic or have some type of allegiance to Iran that want to see the United States and its citizens living in fear and hurt and angry. And we have to figure out how we're going to protect against that. There was a report that came out late last night that stated that U.S. officials cannot yet say with full certainty that the uranium, 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, was completely destroyed by the three bombings. We don't have fidelity on that issue now, and that is weapons grade uranium that could potentially be used against the United States and our allies abroad as well. So the EU has a vested interest in here, and that's why, in no small part, you saw over the past week before the bombings, Germany, France, and the UK engaged very heavily with Iran in attempting to relieve a lot of these tensions. So I think everyone has a vested interest here in not seeing these types of not seeing this type of activity move forward. But we have to find a diplomatic way to end this, because yes, there is no small chance that we may see this conflict continue to grow wider beyond the Middle East.
And as you mentioned, we don't really know if they were able to wipe out all of the uranium enrichment and capabilities, or what the stockpiles that they had. How are we able to get hard proof that it's gone or not? I mean, they haven't been forthcoming with the IAEA, the inspectors who suspected they may have been moving materials to other underground locations all along. So how do we find out what really remains?
Well, it goes back to our allies and the dedicated men and women of the intelligence community that are going to have to do a lot of hard work, a lot of intelligence collection in order to determine like what the actual vein of truth is here. And that does mean working very closely with our partners, Five Eyes and beyond, that help to collect and share intelligence with the United States on these types of various interests, because we have to get an understanding of what happened to all of that material and where it may be right now, because we cannot have that level enriched uranium potentially out in the wind. Just to let viewers understand, anything above approximately 20% enriched can be potentially used and weaponized, that is. And the greater the percentage of enrichment, the stronger the potential explosion that you're talking about. So this is not a small matter. The United States and its allies have to get fidelity on this. We have to understand where this material is so that we can move forward.
And so let me ask you now about not just our troops overseas being in danger, but there is a fear that there may be proxies around the world that could go after Americans or Western sites or, people. And also, what about, we've even heard there could be sleeper cells in the United States here that have been just waiting for something in defense of Iran or any of its allies. So how concerned should we be?
People need to be vigilant, but I caution folks to make sure that we're working off of some thread or some evidence, some information that provides a level of truth that there may be a potential threat. Thus far, we have not seen anything quite yet. We've heard a lot of rhetoric, propaganda from the Iranian regime. We know that our federal and state law enforcement authorities, our governors, are working very diligently to identify any potential threats and share that information. But the United States and the Western Hemisphere, for that matter, have experienced this before. We just ended over 20 years of a war against terror, of which I am a veteran, as are many of my colleagues and friends. So we have been in this type of situation before, and we really need to look deeply at our history, our recent history, and understand how we navigated this type of tumultuous time before. So we need to be thoughtful, we need to be vigilant, but we also need to ensure that there's not overreaction, that we're not overplaying into exactly what our adversaries want us to do.
Bishop Garrison, Vice President for Policy with the Intelligence and National Security Alliance. Thank you so much for your insight this morning. We hope you'll come back to Scripps News.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.